Our Vegas fantasy. It's not what you think. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the latest edition of Our Vegas Fantasy. I'm Kenny Davidsen, and that's my friend Christina Shaw, back from vacation.
Hi, Kenny.
Hi, Christina. This is a show about the great game of fantasy football, otherwise known as Are You F***ing Kidding Me?
Kenny.
Yes.
Bad word.
I just realized how often I'm sitting in front of a TV on a Sunday afternoon at your house, and I'm like yelling at the TV, and I just say that exact phrase on a regular basis. Because I'm just flabbergasted by the things I see sometimes and
but
the
it
stats
makes it
that
fun.
happen. It's really, it is fun. I'm having more fun this year than I've ever had.
I am too. Such
Are you?
high scoring offense.
And you having fun playing the game too?
This year more than others, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know in previous years I'm always frustrated and aggravated at a lot of injuries, and I stayed away from injured players this year.
You
a
did.
lot.
So what are your records? How'd you do this week?
I did very well this week. I went 3-1, so I only lost one.
Great week.
Yeah. I'm every record but 4-0. So I'm 3-1, 2-2, 1-3, and 0-4.
And arguably your 0-4 team's your best team.
My bad.
But we'll talk about that a little later on. But yeah.
frustrating.
But you're on your way. That's not bad.
How did you do?
How did I do? I went 14-10.
That's the best you've done all year, right?
Yeah, it's the best I've done all year. I currently, now I should have gone 16-8, but I broke my cardinal rule.
Which is?
Do not switch out a player at 9:45 in the morning on Sunday morning.
I
switched out 2 players. Now, this is what I did. In an 0-3 league where I'm desperate, I got nervous by the Golden Tate news. And I get worried about playing questionable players. I just do. And it's ironically, I made the reverse in another league, and it cost me. But I get nervous about it. And I just was like, you know what? Josh Gordon's playing. I'm going to play Chris Hogan. So I put in Hogan over Tate. The absolute stupidest, moronic decision I've made all year.
At the time, though, it's not.
But it is at 9:45 in the morning.
But I sat Tate as well. And a lot of people, and sometimes I'll message some of my other fantasy football friends. I don't particularly message you because we're in the same leagues, and I feel like that's unfair. So I'll message a couple of my other friends and say, like, hey, what do you think? I have 4 options, put in 3. And everyone said the same thing, was to sit Tate.
But who did you sit Tate for?
I sat Tate for Galladay.
That's fine.
Fuller.
That's fine too.
And Carson. Which
we'll get to the Carson thing.
Right.
But
wasn't supposed to happen.
Here's the thing. You sat Tate for 2 very viable, good players. Galladay has been great all year. Fuller, when he plays with Watson, has been amazing.
Right.
I sat him for Chris Hogan, who's been a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's one thing to make a start-sit thing like that and have an option that is, that's viable. But Chris Hogan's not viable right now. Chris Hogan's been terrible. So that's why I lost that league by about 10 points. I would have won that league by 20. I would have been 1-3. Now here's the other one I did. Now, this is the reverse of what I just said about sitting questionable players. I have James White in my lineup. I had only one running back spot to change out, and Fournette's playing. And I'm like, you know what? If I sit Fournette and he goes off, I'm going to regret it. And then, they put Fournette. So I put Fournette in and I swapped James White out. Fournette, in the first quarter, looked like he was going to get me my 30 points, and then he's out. Then he's done for the rest of the game. Typical hamstring issue for a running back.
Yeah. It's
so that one killed me because James White's points would have made it up. And in that league, but I didn't make this decision at the last minute, I decided to sit Andrew Luck for Joe Flacco. Actually, it wasn't so bad because Joe Flacco did pretty well,
right.
But Andrew Luck went off.
Yeah.
And I won't sit Andrew Luck again after 400 yards and actually throwing a Hail Mary pass. Now I'm like, all right, he's fine.
Yeah.
That was overthinking on my part. Although again, Flacco was not bad.
Right.
So I don't totally regret that. The James White for Fournette one, I'm going to kick myself for.
Yeah. Even though I didn't start Tate, I would have lost in that league regardless. That's the league that I'm 0-4 in.
Well,
so even if I put him in, I had to start Demaryius Thomas because he was the only one that at that point wasn't playing. So he was my only choice to put in my flex at that point.
Right.
So even if I would have started Tate with at 20 extra points, 25 extra points that he did have. I still would have lost.
Yeah.
I lost by like 40 points in that league.
No,
anyway.
you lost to my friend Lisa, who went off again. So
Shocked.
yeah. Well, you know what? You stay the course. If you're, you have a high point total, you stay the course with that and just hope that it turns around. So, first off, the big news of the week: Le'Veon Bell returning supposedly, not definitely, supposedly, after the Week 7 bye, which means he will be in the lineup for the Pittsburgh Steelers on Week 8. James Conner had a great Week 1 and really has not been great since. There's still a possibility that they trade Bell.
Yes.
What do you do if you have Conner right now? Are you just you ride him out for the next 2 weeks, or do you desperately try to trade the guy?
He still can be traded. Bell still can be traded.
Bell could still be traded too. That's right. Still uncertainty in this situation.
Right. You're just going to have to wait it out and see. What bothers me about Bell is he states he's in this prime physical condition and that he could play football, quote, tomorrow. But you haven't played football in 261 days since January 14th.
Exactly 261 days.
To the date.
To the date.
Of October 2nd.
Wow.
So what makes us think that he is going to be the Le'Veon Bell that he was?
It's fair.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm shopping Bell in the one league I have him, but nobody really wants him. So I think you're in a position where you just got to sit tight and wait.
It would be nice to shop him now. I mean, it's not a bad option because of
Yeah.
the fact that right now you're going to get better value now than you're going to get maybe next week because you don't know what other news is going to come up.
You don't know what's going to come up. I think you shop him to the 4-0 team, to the team that is already good, and say, hey, you might get better. Do you want to risk this?
Yeah.
And see what they say, you know?
I like that idea.
Yeah, don't shop him to the 0-4 team because the 0-4 team's got to win now. Like there's one owner just offered him to me in a super flex league where I'm 2-2, and I'm just like I can't because I'm not in a position where I can wait.
Right.
So, but a 4-0 team,
you can take that risk.
Can take the risk. So
I like it.
Highs of the week for fantasy. This one specifically is for our wonderful engineer Ken. Mitchell Trubisky.
That's awesome.
6 touchdowns.
I think he's leaving now.
Yeah,
we just lost him.
We lost him. Who would have thought that?
Tampa Bay's defense is just so bad.
They're bad.
Sorry.
Is
Ken.
Trubisky good?
No.
Okay.
In week 3, he had a season high of 220 yards. Do you know how many fantasy points that equals to, Kenny?
It's not a lot.
4.
That's not very good.
4.
Yeah.
That was his season high.
That's a season high. Until this past week.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a matchup type quarterback, but
Yeah, if he's playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you start him.
yeah.
Everybody else, you sit him.
No, you could also start him against
Against Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Pittsburgh's going to get better, though, but they stink right now. How about Jared Goff last Thursday night going off on the Minnesota Vikings? The supposedly stout Minnesota Vikings defense doesn't look so good. And Goff looked terrific. That offense, that's one of the best offenses I've seen in a long
Gurley,
time.
Cooks, Cup. Oh, I love Cooper Cup.
Robert Woods.
Yeah, I missed one.
Yeah. And Brandon Cooks. Yeah.
Crazy.
That's a fun team to watch.
I like it too.
And easily the best team in the NFL right now.
Yep.
Andrew Luck, we just talked about him. He came back, had a great game.
He's alive.
He's alive. He's got no weapons. That's his biggest problem.
Right.
And T.Y. Hilton
Is
probably not playing on Thursday night against the Patriots.
Right.
But he's fine. It's good to see Andrew Luck playing well and healthy and looking good.
I think of what happened last week. He wanted to prove everyone wrong this week about the whole he can't throw downfield and all this. I think that really hurt his little feelings.
Now, why are they not interested in Dez Bryant, who's still sitting at home?
I don't know.
That team needs a receiver.
Maybe because of what Dez Bryant has to offer with his off the field crap. But did you know? Here's another fun stat about the Colts: 41 rushing yards last week.
Oh my Lord!
And 11 of them were Andrew Luck.
That's pretty bad.
Yards.
No running back. They have Robert Turbin coming back, but the guy to own in the backfield there is Nyheim Hines, without a doubt. But he's not a running back as much as he is. He's the Chris Thompson, Theo Riddick, Darren Sproles guy.
PPR type monster.
But he's been great. So
I mean, they need some kind of running game in that. I mean, to keep Luck healthy, they really need some type of running game.
Well, maybe they trade for Bell.
Ooh,
That would look good for them,
That
right?
would.
That look
I
good for
like
them.
that,
Yeah.
Mr. Davidson. I like
Yes.
that.
So once again, Alvin Kamara is proven that he is just unstoppable. Now, what could stop him? The return of Mark Ingram this week. What do you think? Does that change anything, or is Ingram still going to get you 30, 40 points a week?
I
Not to get you
have
30, 40.
no idea. I honestly have no idea. I don't know what to do with either of them at this point. I don't have either of them, but if I did, I'd be very confused. What do you do?
Well, obviously, look, you have Kamara, you roll with him. But if you have Ingram,
Do you play both of them?
I think you wait a
Say
week.
you have both.
You wait a week. You wait this week.
Yeah.
Don't play Ingram this week, and then week 6 is bye. So you're not going to have to deal with this for 2 weeks anyway. Let's watch this week. They're playing the Washington Redskins. See how Ingram is used. See if Ingram gets the responsibility that he got last year, which you don't know. They don't have... Kamara is not really a between the tackles runner. He's more of a pass catcher. I think you wait and see. I have Ingram, and I'm kind of shopping him a little bit because I don't know if his trade value is going to be higher than it is now. Now, of course, Ingram can get in there, and it could be fantastic, and then
they roll with two, and
then
it's
they
a
roll
split.
with 2 of them again for the second straight year. And they both it worked last year. They both produced really well last year. So
It's kind of like what we go through with Galladay and Tate.
yeah,
For me.
Yeah.
I mean, with wide receivers anyway.
yeah. So
It's always like, do you play both of them or not?
yep,
It's always like a toss-up.
it's a wait and see.
Yeah.
Zeke, great week. Finally, the return to form to Zeke.
Finally.
Looked really good. We were expecting this. Zeke's going to have great games against defenses that can't stop him. He'll, they still can't pass the ball. So I think Zeke's going to have problems against really good defenses. But Zeke looked great.
He did, but he's got that ankle injury and those knee problems, and that just kind of scares me.
True. Rod Smith is there on the waiver wire. Probably won't get picked up tonight, so you can probably pick him up later in the week. If just somebody to keep an eye on that could get some serious play. They're playing Houston this week. That's going to be a very interesting game, Sunday night game.
Ooh.
Yeah. James White, the aforementioned James White, who I sat for Leonard Fournette. Good grief. But now, James White going forward looks fantastic. But Edelman comes back. Does Edelman steal from White at all?
I don't think so.
I hope not.
No.
White's the guy this year. He kind of started really well last year and faded, but that was because they had Burkhead. Burkhead's gone. So I think White's the guy right now. I think he's going to be just fine.
I mean, I think Edelman, too, is more of like a deep threat. No?
No, Edelman's more of a slot guy. He's a PPR guy.
Okay.
So, but that's what fears me is that it's the short pass guy.
All right.
Gordon's the deep threat. If Gordon actually stays on the field,
And Brady starts actually
starts
throwing.
throwing the ball downfield.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to watch. Your favorite, Cooper Kupp.
Oh, that was such a fun game to watch.
What a game.
Oh, man.
What a night he had.
Phew. I kept texting Kenny all night. Cooper Kupp. All of his touchdowns.
All 3 receivers are really producing in that team, but the one guy that to me has the best floor is Kupp.
Yeah.
Kupp is going to get you minimum 9 to 10 points a week. And then maximum, look what he got you this past Thursday. He got you 30.
Yep.
I don't think he's going to... That'll be his best game of the year, probably. But I think he's...
I don't know. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Right
Think he's
now,
gonna
he
have
has
another
more.
one?
He has more touchdowns than Woods and Cooks,
Does.
which is I don't know.
They look for him in the red zone. How wild is that?
Yep.
Yeah,
Golf loves him.
absolutely. The aforementioned Golden Tate went off on the Cowboys.
Don't remind me.
Oh, God.
But I did play him in another league, so it was kind of bittersweet.
Yeah.
So I was still happy.
Yep.
That he was
He
scoring
looks
that
great.
high. Yeah.
How about Corey Davis? Return to form. Back from the dead.
Good catches.
Mariota's back from the dead. So
Right.
that puts Corey Davis back on the map, too.
Yeah, he had some good catches.
Yep.
and- I mean, who else are they going to throw to?
Well, Tywan Taylor.
That's it.
That's the guy.
It's him.
Another
or-
guy that has emerged, and we're going to talk about him in the waiver wire
Yeah.
segment today, Tywan Taylor, if you pick him up or not. But
They don't have much.
If Mariota's throwing the ball, then Corey Davis is going to be just fine. He's the guy there, without a doubt. Rashard Matthews is not even on the team anymore.
Nope.
So, and our last fantasy high, Jared Cook. Gee whiz.
He found the end zone this week.
Again. He's been terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's high scoring against the Chargers and he blows up again.
I think that's the game of the week.
Yep.
That's one of the games. The other game, there are a couple games this week. Atlanta-Pittsburgh is a big game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, fantasy-friendly game. Oakland and L.A. And now for our favorite news segment, Who Crapped the Bed? Who crapped the bed? Did you crap the bed? Did I crap the bed? Did she crap the bed? We all want to know who crapped the bed. Crap the bed!
Very beautiful.
It's nothing without the glissando at the end.
Yeah. What's that called again?
Glissando.
Glissando.
Yes, that makes the song.
It makes every song.
Yeah,
I
that
think
makes
we have that.
Should I have this at the end of every song? Should I just do this at the end of every song?
I think you do already.
I probably do. So how about Drew Brees not getting it done this week?
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it is. You know, Drew Brees on the road, you still got to be a little weary of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Ingram coming back is going to hurt Brees?
I hope not.
You just don't know.
You don't know. I
don't think it will.
I think New Orleans defense is not great. And I think that helps Brees because they're going to have to score points to win games. Last year, they could ball control to win games. I don't know if they can do that this year. Their defense just is not playing great. Mm-hmm. Russell Wilson. Now, what do? It's like Russell Wilson, great quarterback, but they stink.
It's hard to sit them, but at the same time, I mean, like you said, what do you do? Their offensive line is so bad. Maybe he's going to put up some good numbers this week because they're playing the Rams.
See, everybody is telling you to not play Russell Wilson this week. I think this is the week to play Russell Wilson because I think they're going to
push him.
Because they're going to have to score a lot of points to stay in this game. I don't think they're going to win, but I don't think they're going to lose 30-7 in Seattle.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening.
They'll definitely keep up.
Yeah, no,
and
I think they'll keep up. And Baldwin's back too.
Right.
So I think they're going to keep up. This is a week to me to play Wilson, not to sit Wilson.
Right.
I think Wilson.
I agree.
Now Wilson doesn't do anything this week. In a game where the game flow is going to be in their favor and they're probably going to have the ball a long time. If he doesn't do anything this week, then you've got some issues with Wilson. Then you have to treat him as a QB too.
He is ranked 29th in quarterback fantasy points.
How sick is that?
That's sad.
I believe he was one last year, right? But they stink. We talked about Drew Brees. Michael Thomas had his worst week of the year, but hey, what are you going to do?
It happens.
It happens. Lamar Miller, another guy, not catching any balls. So like his PPR value is not there. Not even close.
Coach Bill O'Brien expects him to be fine, but they're saying he's a little bit banged up, which I think is a little concerning.
So does that mean you pick Alfred Blue up?
No.
Nah, I don't think so. Lamar Miller is just the guy. He's just there. He's getting volume. He's touchdown dependent. I think you play him if you have to play him.
Right.
But
and with Kiki, do you sit him this week? With Kiki doing so good?
No. I think you play him. It's Dallas.
Right.
I think you play him. I mean, again, it's all about your options. You play him over Jay Ajayi? No.
Is Jay Ajayi even playing?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think he's going to play. How about Jordan Howard? In a game where they score all those points, he does nothing this week. And Tariq Cohen got all the play this week. Now, they're on bye, so you have to worry about it this week. I think that's a smokescreen. I think Jordan Howard is going to be fine.
And maybe with the Bears' large lead that they had, too, that's had something to do with his poor numbers.
Yeah. I'm okay. I'd still roll with Jordan Howard. I think he's going to be fine. I still think he's a running back, too. And I think he'll be okay. Juju, not such a great week for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but Pittsburgh just was lousy all the way around. So, yeah, you just let it go.
Don't get discouraged with some of these players.
No.
I feel like we're so easily discouraged by these bad weeks that they have.
Absolutely.
And it's sometimes you think, well, I'm going to take them out and put them in, and then you take them out, and then they blow up like they did the week before, and then you're kicking yourself in the butt.
Yeah, no. Don't get discouraged.
Get
Absolutely
discouraged.
Right. I agree with you. Now, I wouldn't get discouraged about Gronk, but he may be banged up, and it's this Gronk. He gets banged up.
He gets banged up.
Yeah.
Look how big he is.
Yeah. So, Gronk's not... Something about the Patriots just doesn't look right. They just don't look right. Even in beating the Dolphins the way they did this week, there's just something that doesn't look right with them.
The flow is not there.
It's just not there. It's just something that's odd. But obviously, if Gronk's in there, you got to roll with him.
Right. You can't sit him.
No, you don't sit him.
Colts are giving up the 7th most fantasy points to tight ends.
Yeah. But be wary, he may not play Thursday. Just don't know with that.
He has a non-serious ankle injury. It's not serious.
Yeah, but it's Gronk.
When do they play again?
They're playing Thursday.
Oh, so you'll know
you'll
right away.
You'll know right away.
Which is good.
Right. Just keep an eye with it. Along with this whole Who Crapped the Bed segment is now a segment called What the Hell Do We Do With These Guys?
Are we bleeping that out too? No, we don't have to bleep
No, don't bleep it out. It's hell. You can say that. There's hell in fantasy football.
Some of these players are going to go to hell.
Oh, yeah, jeez. Nasty. So, What do you do if you have Leonard Fournette?
You watch the practice reports. That's all you can
so
do.
Hard to trust him. I think they're going to keep him out through the bye week.
They should.
I hope you have Yeldon. If you have Yeldon, obviously you roll with him. The problem is the games like this week. So I have Fournette and Yeldon on the teams that I have Fournette on. But this past Sunday, you have to play Fournette. You can't play Yeldon, right? Fournette goes out and you're screwed.
Yeah.
So you have them both, but you can't play Yeldon if Fournette's playing. Yeldon is completely dependent on Fournette being out. So now the next 2 weeks you can roll with Yeldon. That's going to be really good. But the weeks that Fournette starts, you just got to hope that Fournette stays on the field.
I think they need to let him relax and sit out a couple weeks.
Well, the word is he's sitting out for a couple weeks.
Yeah, he needs
they
to.
don't need him to win. That's the thing. They're 3-1. The Jaguars are, so they're fine.
And especially with Yeldon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they have a crappy second string.
And boy, do they have a juicy matchup with the Chiefs this week.
Juicy.
That is going to be fun to watch.
It's a new word for us.
Juicy.
Yeah. We need a segment. Juicy matchups.
Juicy matchup. This is a good one. That's the game of the week. Look and see how Mahomes handles the Jacksonville defense.
Yeah.
Mahomes has passed every test thrown at him. He was great last night again,
so
too.
fun to watch.
I know.
I say it all the
Unbelievable.
time. He is so fun to watch.
Unbelievable.
Watching him scramble is just like, makes me so happy.
Yeah. No interceptions.
Good for him, man.
know.
I love when they put the camera on him and he looks like he's 12.
He does.
He's so young.
Yeah.
I just want to put him in my pocket.
How about it's nice to see the Chiefs finally draft a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Because it's been so many years for them. And now they've got a guy for the, hopefully the next 10, 15 years if he stays healthy. How about, all right, what do you do if you have Kenny and Drake? What do you do with this?
You can't drop him. You just can't.
No.
He's not a good start against the Bengals this week, which kind of stinks.
I just traded for him. A guy gave him to me for Chris Godwin. And I don't need Chris Godwin in that league because I have Evans, Shepard, Sanders, Keenan Allen. So I'm never going to play Chris Godwin in that league. So I traded him for Kenyon Drake. Why not?
Yeah.
Because what if they finally figure it out and they actually run more than 45 plays in a game, which is absurd. How in this day and age are you running less than 50 plays a game in your offense? How is this possible?
I don't know.
I've never seen anything like it. They are a putrid offense in Miami. Putrid.
They crapped the bed.
They did. But if you have Kenyon Drake, don't sell him.
Don't. You can't.
You can't sell him. Don't drop him. Don't sell him. Just hold on. Give him another week or two. Hopefully they figure out that Frank Gore shouldn't be getting all the attempts. But oof. Dalvin Cook, another guy. What do you do with? He looked good, but my thing with Dalvin Cook is that I don't know if he's going to be great this year on a team with Cousins throwing the ball to Diggs, to Thielen, who looks amazing.
They just have so
They
many.
have so much. And Rudolph's playing pretty well, too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that Cook is going to be a great player. He might get to RB2 status, and he's got to stay healthy. Where we're hearing is not 100%.
But you can't drop another one. You just
No,
can't
you wouldn't drop
him.
him. But I wouldn't trade him either.
Keep him on the bench until he starts.
Keep him on the bench if you can afford to keep him on the bench. I'm going to have a decision in one big league this week. Dalvin Cook or Mark Ingram. What would you do there?
Ingram?
Yeah.
It's a toss-up.
I think I'm going Ingram because I'm just afraid. I don't want Cook to do the same thing Fournette did, which is the worst thing that can happen in fantasy football. You play 2 quarters and you're out. You played 2 quarters on Thursday. He wasn't injured, but they sat him.
Right.
And he's still dealing with a balky hamstring. I don't want to play a guy like that if I don't have to. I'd much rather play Ingram, who may not be good this week.
But
we don't know he's going to be, but I think he'll play.
At least he's healthy.
I'd rather play the guy
and
that's
he's
healthy.
rested.
Yep.
Nice and rested.
He is rested. LaShawn McCoy, what do you do with this?
I did not draft LaShawn McCoy at all because of this reason.
Yep.
And anyone who did, Kenny Davidsen, no, I know he fell to you.
He
but
fell to me. I'm not against it.
But now what do you do with him? He fell to you, and now what?
Yeah.
Do you trade him?
No.
No. Do you drop him?
No.
No. So you keep him on your bench and
wait for him to go off.
and hope he goes off.
Yeah. He might go off this week.
Yeah,
They're home
with the Titans.
against the Titans. Titans have a good defense, but
they've allowed 4th most fantasy points to running backs.
look, the one thing you know about LaShawn McCoy is that he's in a game where they're in the game. He is the offense. He is the guy. He's going to have weeks where he's going to be very good if there's no legal issues with him. He will be good in some weeks this year.
So are you playing him this week?
It depends what my options are. I have one league where I have to play him.
This is the week to play him. If
no, and they're home, and I would, again, I have him in 2 leagues. I traded him in 1 league, so I only have him in 2 leagues now. There's a league where I have to play him. I'm playing him.
Yeah.
So, we just talked about what do you do with James Conner. I think you're stuck with this for a while, so we'll go on from that. Chris Hogan.
At this point, I think he's droppable.
Yeah.
With Edelman back and Gordon ready to play, you just can't trust him.
But with Edelman and Gordon and Gronk, does Hogan finally get open now? Because they don't cover him the way they have been.
Was that his problem, that he's not getting open?
The problem is that he's treated like a number 1 receiver because they don't have anybody. Last year they had Cooks. So they had to put their best cornerbacks on Cooks, and Hogan would get open last year. Hogan, for the first 7 games last year, was great.
So who's the cornerback going to go on? Edelman?
I think it's going to be Edelman and hopefully Josh Gordon.
Edelman hasn't been in.
Well, but Edelman's playing this week. I think, here's the thing, Chris Hogan. You can keep him on your roster through Thursday night. A lot of leagues, you can drop him after they play, right? So and if you play on Yahoo, you're playing NFL.com. If you have Chris Hogan on your bench and he does nothing Thursday, you can drop him on Friday for free agent. So you have the luxury.
Even though they play?
Yeah. Huh. Yahoo and NFL.com. ESPN, you can't do that.
Right.
But Yahoo and NFL, you can. So this is what I do with Chris Hogan. And he's getting one more chance. This is his week. I'm not playing him. I'm sitting him on the bench. And if he does nothing, Friday, off the team. If there's a free agent pickup to find, if there's somebody like Tywan Taylor still available, go get him.
Right.
Kiki Kute, but he'll be picked up by everybody tonight.
Right.
But Tywan Taylor might be a guy that sneaks in under the radar. So
we had such high hopes for Hogan.
Yeah, well, this is it.
Yeah.
This is what you do.
This is fantasy football.
That's how you do this. What do you do with Larry Fitzgerald?
He still leads the Cardinals in targets.
He's not healthy.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Obviously, again, you're just not playing him. You're sitting him, you're hoping to God that he just gets healthy and plays better.
You have to just watch the injury. Maybe after the bye, he'll start playing a little better.
Yep. Obviously, no dropping him, but
no, keep him on the radar. But I think you have to watch the injury reports.
Yep. Here's a guy. He's not a drop in a 12-team league. He might be a drop in a 10-team league. What do you do with Demaryius Thomas? It's time. He has reached the ripe old age of 90 years old.
No, he's the same age as Sanders. And Sanders is looking great.
Sanders is, he's just in better shape. I don't think Demaryius he's just not even being targeted as much. Cortland Sutton being there.
Yes, he scares me.
So you watched that game last night, and it kind of gave you an inkling as to what Demaryius Thomas is turning into.
Yeah. He would have had that touchdown at the end of the game, though, if Case Keenum would have threw it to him
that was
properly.
a bad throw. That really was. He had that.
He was in the end zone.
He had that. You're absolutely right. But I wouldn't expect much going forward from Demaryius Thomas. I think that we're seeing the end of this. And so Sanders is the guy. Now, of course, Sanders gets hurt, and then it's a whole different conversation.
Right, so you can't drop him.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Let's go to the waiver wire for this week. A few players, a lot of interesting waiver wire targets this week. Let's start with our new favorite name in fantasy football, Kiki Kute.
Kiki on the waiver. Oh, I love him. That's all I know. That
was great.
Yeah.
Do that again.
Kiki on the waiver. Do you love him?
I have no idea what key you're in, but it sounded good to me.
That's a real song.
I know that is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just trying to find your key.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
So, are you picking up Kiki Kute?
It's impossible to predict what he's going to do. The first game as a rookie.
15 targets.
Yeah, lead the team in targets. He's got a lot of competition too, though.
Well, if Fuller's out, he does not. If Fuller's in, he absolutely does have a lot of competition. You're right. I think his value is tied to Fuller and Hopkins. Hopkins will be there, but I think his value is completely tied to Fuller. A lot now. The problem is you're going to have to make that decision today. Or Tuesday, whatever that is, whatever your waiver wire day is, because Kike is not going to be available in any league after this. Maybe a 10-team league, but not 12-team, 14-team leagues. He's gone.
So you grab him, maybe take a chance?
Yeah, a couple leagues where I'm desperate, I'm picking him up. I like him. I like the way he plays. I think Fuller is going to be out enough this year that you'll find value from Kute. And you know who's starting to look really good again is Deshaun Watson. He's looking great.
Yeah.
So I think Qt's worth a pickup because I think you're going to get enough games out of him. And I think it's pretty clear. Fuller's out, you don't play him. Fuller's out, you play him. Fuller's in, you don't play him.
Exactly.
Nyheim Hines dropped in a lot of leagues before this week. He ain't going to be he will not be available after this week.
No.
Trust me. Nyheim, what do you say about Nyheim?
He's the only
Hines?
player on the team with a rushing touchdown.
Isn't that scary?
The
Yeah.
Colts are having a hard time running the ball, man.
And T.Y. Hilton not playing Thursday night, I think Nyheim Hines is going to have a monster game.
Especially
on
in
Thursday
PPR.
night. And they're going to be playing from behind, probably against the Patriots. Mm-hmm. Go get him.
Yep.
That's a guy. That's my number one target on waivers this week, without a doubt.
Especially with the running backs being so sparse.
Are they more scarce this year than they've ever been?
Yes.
Good grief.
Yes.
There's nothing out there for running backs.
It's a cesspool.
It's a cesspool. Here's a running back. There's a real tough decision. I agonized over this one a lot when I did all my waiver pickups an hour ago. Mike Davis. What do you do with this?
If you're a Carson owner, grab him.
Well, if you're a Carson owner, you got to go get him.
Right.
Absolutely. But if you're not, you want him? You want a piece of this?
Even when Carson returns, I think he's still going to be in the mix.
Yeah, but I don't trust Pete Carroll one bit when it comes to running backs. Ever since they lost Lynch, I just don't trust him.
He doesn't know what to do with them.
No, I don't want to deal with it. That was most of my decision with Mike Davis was, you know what? I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
I don't, because he's not going to do that every week. And if Carson's there, he won't get a lot of play. Or you just don't know what it's going to be week to week with this. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to deal with it. I think if you have Carson, absolutely go get him. That's the right play. Here's one. The best efficiency in the National Football League goes to Nick Chubb. How good did he look? Well, in 3 carries.
Yeah, but he looked good in the 3 carries he had. I think if Hyde starts struggling, he could be more useful. But until then, do you pick him up?
I think it's if you have Hyde, you pick him up. If you don't, you don't want to. Look, he's not going to get play. Hyde's the guy.
Right.
Hyde's still getting the work. The question will be, will Chubb start eating into Jude Johnson's role and maybe getting those snaps, in which case he becomes viable.
Right.
But I think, to me, you can't leave him on waivers, but don't go all out for him. He won't be on waivers after this week either. He's going to be picked up by everybody. And if you're a Hyde owner, go get him. Absolutely go get him.
Yeah, and with all the RB problems we're having this year, it might be worth it.
Might be worth it. Are you picking up Vance McDonald?
Great tight end to pick up this week.
Right? He's not available in a lot of leagues anymore, but he's available in a few.
Especially for all the buy. Well, not all the buy. There's only 2 teams on buys. But if you have a tight end from one of those 2 teams, he's a good pickup this week.
Absolutely.
And with the cesspool of tight ends, as you say,
It really is.
he's not a bad tight end
No,
pickup.
he's a must-own at this point. You have to have him.
Yep.
If he's available, you got to go get him.
Go get him.
And you need a tight end. Here's another guy, but he's on bye this week.
Right.
Cameron Brate.
Yep. Especially since Howard is injured.
And especially since Winston's back. That's his guy.
Week 3 and 4, he had solid fantasy numbers.
Brate's sneaky this week because he might not get picked up because they're on bye this week.
Right.
Which means you can wait till after the waiver wire period and sneak him in later on. There's a chance. But Brate is a guy that he's going to produce.
Yep.
Absolutely.
2 very good tight ends this week for pickup.
In a year where there's no tight ends. All right. What do you do about Taylor Gabriel? You picking him up?
Also on a bye, so you might be able to wait.
Might be able to wait.
He had a big game because Straczynski blew up, but there's so many weapons on that offense. Do you really trust them?
No.
No.
I don't. I'm not interested in Taylor Gabriel.
No, unless you're desperate.
Unless you're desperate. 14-team league, yeah, but not a normal standard 12, 10.
Right.
No.
There's so many other good wide receivers.
He'll have weeks like this. He'll have 4 weeks like this year. Mm-hmm. You know? But no, I don't trust that. Taywan Taylor. How about this? Picking him up?
I mean, they don't have many options. Like we just talked about earlier.
Right.
They don't have many options.
No, and their tight end is useless.
Right. So he's by committee. He's going to be there. He's going to catch balls.
I think he's a very sneaky good pickup. It relies on Mariota being healthy. Mariota's got to be healthy and play like he did this week against the Eagles.
I don't want to talk about it.
But I think he's sneaky, and I think he's going to I think he's going to slip through the waiver pickups in a lot of leagues, so I think you can get him after that. I like Taywan Taylor, though. I do. I think they need him, too.
Right.
So I think he's a nice, sneaky pickup this week.
I agree.
News and injuries. We just talked about O.J. Howard out for 2 to 4 weeks with an MCL sprain. Obviously, that means go get Cameron Brate. I like O.J. Howard a lot, and we'll deal with it when he gets back, how you're going to handle the tight ends if he'll be relevant again. I think he will be because I think he's just too talented to keep off the field.
Mm-hmm. But he lost his quarterback that he had really good chemistry with.
He did.
So do you think that will change?
Hard to say. Yeah. I think he's good. So, I think Winston will figure it out with him. I do love Jameis coming back, though. I think Jameis would have put up, look, we talk about Fitzpatrick putting up the numbers that he put up, 400 yards and all these touchdowns. I think Jameis, had he been in there, would have put up, you can't say he's going to put 400 yards up. I think he would have put up nearly comparable numbers to that because I think, first of all, I think he's better than Fitz.
Well, yeah.
So, and I think Tampa's they'll be fine offensively. Defensively, that's a whole nother
story.
Well,
yeah.
You start everybody against Tampa this year.
So no Fitz magic anymore, Kenny?
The Fitz magic. Oh, Fitz magic is dead.
Aww.
Dead.
I like that song, though.
Oh, I didn't write that song.
Not anymore.
Pilot.
Yeah, I know.
That's right. T.Y. Hilton, probably not playing Thursday night.
Nope.
They got a nice little pool of wide receivers to go get. Ryan Grant, Chester Rogers.
Yep. It's another nice pickup this week, Ryan Grant.
Yeah, absolutely. Devonta Freeman might come back this week.
Got a favorable matchup.
He does have a favorable matchup. And Tevin Coleman has not been great.
I'm looking forward to it. I have Freeman in 2 leagues.
Yeah.
So, but watch the injury report.
Yeah.
We don't want the same thing to happen with Carson.
No, you don't want it. It's a knee, not a hamstring.
Right.
So I feel a little more confident with a guy with strangely enough, how do you say this? You feel more confident with a guy with a knee injury than a hamstring injury. Isn't that weird?
That's how it is with
RBs.
RBs.
That's how it is. Hamstrings, you just don't know. And that's the thing with T.Y. Hilton. It's a hamstring.
Right.
That makes me a little nervous about him.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be good to see him back. Marquise Goodwin banged up again on a team that, they need him.
Yeah.
But
is he droppable?
He's
10-team league.
10-team league, absolutely droppable.
Yep.
12-team league.
Questionable.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people, I was in 2 leagues, they dropped Kittle.
What?
I couldn't believe it. And I got high waiver priority in those leagues. I'm grabbing Kittle until he doesn't play anymore. Kittle looked great.
He always, not always.
He looks damn good. Randall Cobb also hurt.
Don't play him until he has a good game.
Yeah. And Geronimo Allison might not play this week. So
really?
No, he concussion.
Oh yes, toward the end of the game,
concussion.
Right?
Yeah. So we have to keep an eye on Geronimo Allison. Aaron Jones, get him in your lineup this week. Ty Montgomery actually might be a sneaky play. Here's a name: Marquez Valdez Scantling.
That's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful. Pick him up. Don't use waivers on him. He'll be a free agent after the week. But Friday, and you're looking for a wide receiver, if Allison's not playing, look at that guy, Marquez Valdez Scantling against the Detroit Lions. He would be the number 2 receiver for the Green Bay Packers. And anybody who is the number 2 receiver for the Green Bay Packers should be on your fantasy team, period.
You heard it first.
You heard it first. Just keep an eye. Now, if Cobb's playing, then don't watch. Then irrelevant. And if Allison's playing, irrelevant. But if both of those guys are out, get them. For sure, get them.
You see this great information you're getting on our Vegas Fantasy tonight?
Absolutely.
I mean,
our Vegas Fantasy, full of great information. And Ryan Fitzpatrick benched for Jameis Winston. That's obviously the other big news. But again, I think Tampa's going the right direction offensively, without a doubt.
It's so sad, though, that they were just waiting for him to have a bad game.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, have a bad game.
No, it happened. You know what's going to happen. It's
I
Ryan
know,
Fitzpatrick.
but it's just sad. Because can you imagine what's going through that poor guy's head?
Yeah. Ryan Fitzpatrick has had a really, really nice career in the NFL. Yeah. He's how long he's played. He's helped a lot of teams. The year he played for the Jets, the first year he was terrific. Mm-hmm. In these first 4 games, for 3 of the first 4 games for Tampa, he was terrific. But Tampa's got to figure out if Winston's going to be the guy.
Right.
They need to figure this out. And I think Winston is a great quarterback. It's just a matter of him, off the field, all those issues. But I think if he can keep his head on straight, he could be a franchise quarterback. So Tampa's got to figure this all out. And now for the segment that we teased at the very beginning of this show, the nickname of fantasy football. Are you kidding me?
Kenny Davidsen.
Yes. Here's why fantasy is just crazy. So you don't hear a thing about Chris Carson, right? He's supposed to play. And then an hour and a half before the late game, he's out.
Oh, that was...
So what did you do?
Thankfully, I put him in my flex. So I was able to take him out and put in Demaryius Thomas, who was my only option on my bench that hadn't played.
And this is a good lesson that Christina just put out there. Play your Thursday players and your early game players in their slots and not in the flex slot.
Correct.
Save the flex slot until you have to use it every week because you just don't know what's going to come down. So if you're playing a Thursday night game, do not use your flex slot. Don't use it. If you like, I have James White in a flex league. I'm in my flex slot. I'm going to put him in RB2 this week.
Right.
Why not?
It doesn't matter. The points
doesn't
are the
matter.
points.
You're
Doesn't
playing
matter
him anyway. Exactly.
Right.
So you just move him to your regular slot. So that was smart. So and then you ended up getting Demaryius Thomas in the game. I had one league where I put what did I put in? I put in Buck Allen. I had to because Buck Allen was playing Sunday night. So there you go.
Right.
And he was fine.
And he didn't do too bad.
He didn't do much, but it was
better
I got
than a
better
goose
than the
egg.
Chris Carson 0.
Right.
Exactly.
But how many people must have kept him in?
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you did.
Yeah. And how about another thing that happened this week was the Leonard Fournette stuff. We just talked about it. So, Leonard Fournette plays one quarter, looks great, and then the balky hamstring again.
They need to rest him.
Yeah. So what do you have to contribute to the Are You Bleeping Kidding Me section of this
So
of this
my
podcast?
Are You Bleeping Kidding Me is I am 0-4 with what I think is one of my best teams. I have the highest top 5 points. Top 5 most points in that league. And I don't know what to do. I look at my team and I think, do I need to trade? Do I need to drop? Do I need new players? And my team is stacked. I just don't know what to do at this point. And Kenny and I have this conversation all the time, luck over skill. And I think I am having bad luck.
In that league, you're having bad luck. There's no doubt about that.
There's nothing I can do.
Well, no. You got to roll them out.
Yeah.
You roll out your players. And see what happens. I think that when you have a high point score, and here's the thing, your points against in that league is disgusting.
Do I have the most points
You
against?
have the most points against by far.
See, what do you do? You can't do anything.
No. You roll with it. You're 0-4, but you roll with your team.
But here's the thing. If I get a couple wins, I will jump in rankings.
Yeah, you will.
I just need to have a good 2 wins in a row, 3 wins in a row, and I can prevail.
That's how you judge an 0-4 team, or if you're 0-4 right now, look at your points scored. And if your point scored is high, you just have to roll with it and see what happens. If your point score is low, you got some work to do. I got one 0-4 team where I got the worst points in the league. It's a skank team. It's a terrible team. David Johnson, Phillip Lindsay's my RB2, right? I just traded for Kenyon Drake in that team. Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Emmanuel Sanders, Russell Wilson's my quarterback. They stink.
Yeah.
It's a crappy team. There's just nothing you can do about it. But stay the course. All right, a couple start-sit questions. Are you ready, Christina Shaw?
It's Wednesday night. Who should you choose? Make the right choice so you win, not lose. Start or sit, start or sit, start or sit.
With the glissando at the end.
Yes.
Yes.
Who's our first one, Kenny?
First one. This is one I'm gonna have this week. Deion Lewis or Dalvin Cook?
Lewis.
For sure.
Solid flex in PPR.
So you're sitting Cook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you? Still not sure.
I'm listening to you. I'm deciding what's your reasoning.
The Eagles have allowed the 3rd fewest running back fantasy points per game through the first 4 weeks.
And the Vikings are playing the Eagles.
Right.
Right. Okay.
And Cook has no touchdowns.
Nope.
At least Lewis does.
Yeah, I think that's a fair. That's fair.
That's my argument.
Yeah, I might go with that. I might go with Deion Lewis in that situation. Deion Lewis and they're against Buffalo Bills. So
Yeah.
So Tennessee might score a
match
little
up.
bit. So, Mark Ingram or Alex Collins?
This one is so hard. I literally was sitting in front of the computer probably for 15 minutes trying to figure out which one you should choose or anyone should choose at this point. Kamara is just so good, and you just don't know what Ingram's going to do, especially with both of them in. It's just hard to know how much playing time he's going to get. But then you go to Collins, and he fumbled. They sat him with the end of the second quarter?
Yeah, they did. They didn't play him in the second quarter because he fumbled at the goal line in the first quarter.
Right, so he has fumbling issues.
And they made it very clear. They made a thing about that, too. He said it in the press conference.
Oh, right. But, I mean, Collins has a little bit better numbers. Well, obviously, he has better numbers because Ingram hasn't played, but I don't know.
Baltimore plays Cleveland. Cleveland's got a good defense, but I don't like Cleveland this weekend. It's going to be a tough weekend for them against Baltimore's defense.
It's a coin toss.
I'm probably going Collins because I don't want to play the unknown.
Right.
And Ingram is still the unknown this week.
Right.
Collins is not the unknown. I would play Collins in this situation. I'm not loving it.
Right.
But I'm doing it.
Do you think they're still going to punish him because of these fumbles?
No, because he played the second half.
Right.
So I would say no. I think he'll play.
I hate that they do that. Like, people make mistakes. Stuff happens. Why are we in third grade where you have to sit somebody in a corner and say, that's it, you're not going to play because you fumbled the ball?
Well, we're fantasy players, so we get upset by that. But as a coach, that's like, it's rule number 1. Don't fumble. They're very clear about that.
I mean, I guess he fumbled twice. So
yeah, I mean, he's got an issue with that.
True.
So, but I get it. He is by far the more talented back in the backfield in Baltimore. I mean, Buck Allen's been good, but Collins is talented. Mm-hmm. He really is. Another guy, the unknown. The unknown versus the coming back from an injury. We got Julian Edelman or Doug Baldwin.
I'm going to say Edelman.
Are you?
I think he's a little bit more fresh, especially because New England has this quick turnaround with playing on Thursday.
Right.
Baldwin, there's just so many good receivers on that team, and Russell Wilson isn't looking so hot.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm not sure. That's my flex question in my other 0-4 league. Is going to be Doug Baldwin or Julian Edelman.
I mean, you're 0-4, so who does it really matter?
Yeah, it does matter. I can come back and win.
Yeah.
You're 0-4 in a league. You giving up on that league?
No.
Okay.
Because
I have
one of the top 5 most.
Well, don't give up.
No,
you don't quit until you got your 6th loss.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm just saying it's a coin toss. So no matter who you put in, you can crunch numbers all day long. You can't crunch numbers because Edelman hasn't played, so he has no numbers to crunch.
Now, we also got to make sure Edelman's going to play Thursday night. I assume he will.
Yeah.
But it is a short week, and he comes back from suspension on a short week.
Which is
And he hasn't been able to be around the team for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So you don't know. If they obviously, Edelman's not playing.
But he's not
story.
A rookie. It's not like you have to worry about that.
No, and I think, but again, it's still
Edelman.
playing the known versus the unknown.
Right.
I'm probably gonna play Edelman because I think Edelman's gonna have a big week.
I think so too.
And our final segment on our Vegas Fantasy, our weekly fantasy football burial. And this week,
oh no, don't say it.
Tyler Eifert. Dearly beloved, we're gathered here today to celebrate the fantasy football life of Tyler Eifert. The oft-injured Tyler Eifert, touchdown dependent but wonderfully productive tight end when he plays, broke his ankle. Had a surgery. Made Tyler Eifert in fantasy football rest in peace for 2019. In all seriousness, I feel so bad for Tyler Eifert. I really do. This guy just can't stay healthy. He's had back issues for so long.
Yeah.
And, he gets on the field, has a great game.
Beautiful
Great
touchdown.
game, and then he breaks his ankle.
He was starting to look like his old self.
And look, we bury these people because we're doing a show here. But, first of all, and I want to make this clear because, we talk about these people that they're all human beings here.
Right.
But we are talking about these people as fantasy football entities, which really basically, look, to us, they're names on a page. We're not trying to get into them as the quality of football players that they are, because obviously they're wonderful football players. They're playing in the NFL. They're great players. But as fantasy football entities, this is what we deal with. And unfortunately, as Tyler Eifert's one of these guys that just gets hurt all the time, so you don't deal with him. But I feel bad for him. I saw him. He tweeted out a picture after he had his surgery, and he's like, "I'm going to fight. I'm going to get back on the field." And you root for a guy like that. I root very hard. I would love to see that. And I picked him up in a league where I lost like 3 tight ends. So like, well, he's my 4th tight end. Here we go. Lost Ingram, lost Olsen. Let's go. Right. Tyler Eifert. Now I lose Tyler Eifert, right?
Well, you know who to pick up now.
Here's a sneaky tight end pickup out there. Very, very sneaky. Hayden Hurst. First round draft pick for the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens use tight ends. That's what they do. Sneaky pickup. Keep an eye with him.
Good tight end pickups this week.
Actually there are several good ones this week.
Use your waiver wire this week if you need a tight end. Do not wait.
No, if they're available. If Brate's available, Brate's going to be available everywhere. Vance McDonald might not be, but Brate's going to be available everywhere.
Yep.
And Hayden Hurst is going to be available everywhere. Everywhere.
Yep.
Keep an eye with him. And that concludes our latest edition of Our Vegas Fantasy. I want to thank Ken Bolke for being our great engineer. We love him. He's awesome. Want to thank the Space. We are at the Space recording every Tuesday a new episode of Our Vegas Fantasy. The Space is located on Cabrera Court off of Polaris and Harmon. It is a great entertainment venue put together by Mark Chinook. So we want to say thank you to the Space for allowing us to do this show. Please download us on Spotify. Please check us out, rate us, share us. Let us know that we exist in your lives out there.
Yes, please.
Because we love doing this show. So please give us a listen.
Thank you so much for listening.
And on that note, my name's Kenny Davidsen.
And I'm Christina Shaw.
And we'll see you next time on Our Vegas Fantasy.
Bye.